Hey y'all, my name is Kayla and welcome to my cozy chaotic corner of the internet. 2024 has come to an end and it is far, far behind us by now. Well, not too far behind us. Far enough that, we don't have to be concerned about it, but still close enough that we can reminisce on the good times and the bad times. And today we are talking about the best reads of 2024. And I am so excited to share this list with you because, to be quite honest, I feel like some of these books just don't get enough recognition. And maybe it's because some of these books are a little bit older and everyone has already gave them their laurels, but it's my turn. I get to, crown the best of 2024 for me, personally. And here are some of my books that were my most enjoyed reads of 2024. And they may not all be 5-star reads, to be quite honest with you. Some of these books are just ones that have stuck with me, and I just really enjoyed the reading experience of them. With all of that noted, we're just going to go in chronological order of when I read the book throughout the year. This was the second book I read in 2024. And you probably have heard me talk about this book at least once if you've been around. And that is Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. This is the Broken Bindings edition. I had to hunt and scavenge to get this book at a price that wasn't breaking my wallet, but I was so excited to get this book, and it is in pristine condition. The seller sent me it in its original packaging. I was the happiest little clam when this book arrived. This could potentially be like one of my favorite reads of 2024. Not necessarily because it's like the most amazing book in the history of books, but it was the first book this year that I was just like, I really enjoyed that. That was a good time. It's such a fun adventure book. I might just read Godkiller again this year and then read Sunbringer right before Faithbreaker comes out. That might have to be a thing. On to the next book. I don't remember the exact order because the next two books I read pretty much back to back. So we're just going to start with Recursion by Blake Crouch. To be honest with you guys, I don't even think I could do a synopsis of this book justice. It's it's a science fiction thriller detective. This book was just wild. It was all over the place. When the book finally ended, I was just like, here's my caveat to this book. You have to be okay with kind of just being confused about the science fiction factor, because there's like a lot of big brain stuff going on in this book that I necessarily wasn't fully keeping up with, but I kept up with it enough to understand the premise of what was happening. This book was just a wild ride. And again, I can't even pretend to give you a synopsis of the book. Just know we have these two characters, our main detective, and a female scientist. Time starts shifting because of this project that she's working on. And his life gets impacted because of the project she's working on. And eventually these two characters do meet, but it's through a crazy adventure. Loved Recursion so much. But a book that I read, again, around the same time of Recursion is Johannes Cabal, the Necromancer. Y'all, we're gonna have to go chat with past Kayla, because I think she just did the synopsis of this book justice. The story is about Johannes Cabal, who is a necromancer, and it just so happens that he had sold his soul to the devil to become a necromancer. Well, the story starts out, literally chapter 1, Johannes Cabal is literally just, hello, Mr. Satan, telling Satan, listen, buddy, listen, love that we had this little deal, love being a necromancer, but I'm gonna need you to give me back my soul. But I also have to be able to keep my necromancer abilities. Listen here, Johannes. I love a good deal. I love a good deal. I can do that for you. I'd love to do that for you. However, you have to get me 100 souls And to make things like a little fair, a little even, I'm going to give you a year to get me 100 souls. But you can't just kill them. Like, they have to sign over their soul. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to help you out a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And I'm going to give you a carnival. A traveling carnival. Sometimes the downtrodden, the questionable morals. People who, you know, may not be the greatest of people. Go to carnivals. And I think this will be helpful for you. This will be helpful for you. What you don't know about Johannes is that he is a very buttoned up, straightforward man of science. And he doesn't really have what it takes to run a carnival. So we spend the book with Johannes and his ragtag team just traveling in their traveling carnival, collecting souls. I feel like oftentimes comedy has so much to do with inflection and delivery, and to get that across in a book I find can be very difficult. But this book was just like dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's. I was having such a good time with this book. It is technically book 1 of a series, and eventually I do want to continue on reading this book, but honestly, like, you could easily just read this book by itself, unless you really want to know why Johannes Cabal needs his soul back, because there is something he's trying to do with his necromancer powers that requires him to have his soul. And we don't really know that element in book 1. So if you need to know what else happens, like, yeah, obviously continue on with the series. Like, I feel like book 1 really just stood on its own. It was such a fun book. Oh my god. Honestly, this book you should have read during the holiday season. You just need to, like, rewind a little bit, go back into 2024 in December, and read this book during the holiday season, because it takes place from Thanksgiving to Christmas Day. And this book is called The Family Game. Oh my god. If you are looking for, like, a twisty-turny thriller that takes place in the holidays, but isn't too on the nose with the holidays and also incorporates Krampus Day, this is such a fun book. So the story of this book is our main character. She is from the UK. She meets an American who is very well off. We're talking like the 1% of the 1%. And he actually distanced himself from his family because he wants to make it on his own. He doesn't want to be, like, you know, the son of this really wealthy man. But because, again, this place takes place around the holidays and they're newly engaged, his family is trying to convince her to, like, you know, bring him back into the family. Bring him back into the family, make things right again. Let's just spend the holiday season together. And the twists and turns this book takes, it's wild. It's crazy. You will not see the ending coming until you see it coming. And when you see it coming, you're just like, what? And our final best reads of 2024 is an audiobook. Now, of course, you can read the book. That's totally fine. But the immersive experience that you get through this audiobook, it can't be, I personally have not experienced an audiobook like this one. This is the standard of all audiobooks. Like, all audiobooks should be at this standard of production. And that is Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Again, you read the book if you want to, but I highly encourage you to listen to the audiobook. You know? Just, even if you aren't an audiobook person, like, do a little tandem read. Follow along in the book while listening to the audiobook, because holy smokes, it was just an experience that you cannot get the audiobook experience by just reading the book. There were moments, a lot of this book deals with reading of the script, running through a script, okay? because this is about the story of this book. Let me just read this back synopsis because I feel like I'm going to fumble over the actual synopsis of this book. In June 1993, a group of young guerrilla filmmakers spent 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a notorious, disturbing outhouse horror flick. The weird part? Only 3 of the film's scenes were ever released to the public, but Horror Movie has nevertheless grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big budget reboot. The man who played the Thin Kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay, the bizarre events of the filming, and the dangerous crossed lines on set that resulted in tragedy. As memories flood back in, the boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur. But he's going to help remake the film, even if it means navigating a world of cynical producers and surreal fan conventions. Demons of the past be damned. But at what cost? Horror Movie is an obsessive, psychologically chilling, and suspenseful feat of storytelling genius that builds to an unforgettable, mind-bending conclusion. Mind-bending conclusion indeed. But as I was noting, a lot of the sequence of events are back in time when they're reading through the script, running through the script of what's supposed to be happening. And the audiobook includes elements of everyone turning their pages. You know how literally when you're reading something and sometimes you'll mess up a word or you want a different inflection or tone in what you're saying, so you'll kind of like run over it again. That was all happening in the audiobook. So I cannot stress enough, you guys have to listen to the audiobook for Horror Movie. You have to. It is your required homework assignment for the year of 2025. So at the end of 2025, come back to one of my videos and let me know, did you listen to Horror Movie? Not read it. I mean, you can read it, but did you listen to it? And if you did listen to it, let me know your thoughts and opinions, because it was such a good time. The production quality was just I need all audiobooks to be at that production quality because I'm so picky when it comes to audiobooks. And that, I am going to be on the hunt for an audiobook that has that kind of atmosphere, because it was S tier. Nothing, I haven't heard anything like that before, and now I'm on a mission to find one like it moving forward. Anyways, y'all, those were my best books of 2024. I am so excited to talk to you guys about my plans for 2025, but we will do that in an upcoming video. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye.